almost dropped the GoPro. Look at that, freaking fantastic packaging right there. You can practically see it. Guess I can't, but yeah, Gotrax. Manual. This thing just comes straight up, and it looks like you just plug this right here and then shove it up there. Little note, I didn't realize it actually has a little indent on the back that you just can use that to kind of press it down once you've got the cable in there. One of those fell in the box. I'll get it, don't worry. But yeah, this thing kind of spins around. You gotta press it down, then make sure this is lined up, and then you put the screws in. Wow, actually pretty easy. I mean, once you get this thing screwed on here, watch this. Now let's see how much battery it's got. Ooh. Wait, does this have a code?
Hello everyone, the Duke here, and today I'll be comparing the Gotrax G4 to the HiBoy S2 Pro. Both of these scooters occupy the mid-range of electric scooters, with the HiBoy being around $680, granted there are a lot of sales, and the Gotrax at $670, and once more, they go on sale all the time. Now let's talk about performance. First of all, the Gotrax, it has a kickstart system which cannot be disabled, unlike the HiBoy, and it's a very difficult kickstart. Like, you gotta be going, I think, 3 or 5 miles an hour for the motor to actually kick on. And like the HiBoy, I have it running the exact same system, yet it is so much easier. It's just kind of bizarre. Also, the Gotrax is sporting a 350 watt motor compared to the HiBoy's 500, and it shows in the hill climbing performance. With heavier riders, the Gotrax slows down to around 8 miles an hour or less, and sometimes you have to put your foot down to kind of balance it, while the HiBoy is able to keep up 10 or 11 miles per hour. Now, these are on really tough hills, and if you live in a flat area, the Gotrax would actually be better because it's got a higher top speed. It goes 20 miles an hour, which I know the HiBoy says 19, but it's definitely faster than 19 miles an hour or 20 as it states. In regards to comfort, the Gotrax blows the HiBoy out of the water. Pneumatic tires will always be nicer than solid tires, and even though I have suspension on the HiBoy, which the Gotrax has none, it's so much nicer. And of course, the whole thing with pneumatic tires is they can pop, but they're really comfy, and well, hard tires, they don't ever pop, but they're very uncomfortable. Also, something to note is this does have tubes in the tires, which I have heard can be a bit more of a chore to change out if you ever need to. Just something to note. Now, for range, both of these scooters are rated for 25 miles per hour, which of course is under the most optimal of conditions. The HiBoy S2 Pro, I've never actually tested its full range, but I've heard it usually gets around 19, while the Gotrax gets around 15. Now, measuring range is always a bit of a funky part of electric scooters, but it's safe to say that both will get 15 miles not to the gallon, to the electric, whatever. Brakes. The Gotrax and the HiBoy both have disc and regenerative braking, but the Gotrax has a, well, 2-in-1 system where you hold the brakes slightly and it'll engage the e-brake, and then you squeeze it all the way and it'll engage both. However, it's a lot weaker, and one thing to note is that if you squeeze it all the way, since this is a rear wheel motor, it'll basically just lock up the rear tire, so it doesn't really get to use the e-brake, and it kind of is pretty dangerous. While the HiBoy, it's got one lever for e-braking and one lever for braking, and this is a preference of mine. I prefer them to be separate because I pretty much use the e-brake all the time. I don't like gently squeezing on the brake pedal to try to stop. I like having a separate one, but again, preference, and its brakes are a lot stronger than this. Of course, I am going from full speed to a sudden stop, which, you know, you probably shouldn't do, although I'm not a big fan of how weak the brakes feel on the Gotrax. And also, something odd, it's not really, I mean, it doesn't bother me, the Gotrax has a really loud motor. I think they actually say in the advertisement it's supposed to be super quiet, but the motor is noticeably loud. I just thought that was odd. Now, in regards to creature comforts and features, the Gotrax has a passcode system, which you have to do every time. I don't believe it can be disabled. It does get kind of annoying, and also it has a bike chain or a bike lock built into the stem, so you can lock it down. I don't know how tough it is, but it's kind of nice to have. Also, the stem locking mechanism is super nice. I trust this so much more than the HiBoys, and also the general construction feels a lot better. Even though it is lighter than the HiBoy, it has a very solid feeling to it. Also, the lights on this thing, they're a lot better. The HiBoy has a very good far beam, but you can't see what's in front of you, while the Gotrax doesn't have as bright of a beam, but it's a lot more balanced. You can, well, you can actually go around and see what's going on in front of you. The one thing is that the brake light, the way it's positioned, you can't see it as well, and also it doesn't have the nice side lighting that the HiBoy has, but I mean, you could always add something, but something to note. Now, the Gotrax does not have a mobile app, and as far as I know, you can't disable the code. It also has a walking mode, which you hold down the minus key and it kind of follows you. It's a little peculiar. And the HiBoy, it doesn't have any of those features, but it has an app, which allows you to do a lot more customization, which I'm a big fan of. To kind of conclude this, I mean, both of them are very similarly priced, and if you value performance and customization over comfort, I mean, one thing to note in regards to comfort is that I don't think you could put these type of modifications that I've put on my HiBoy on the Gotrax because the handlebars are thicker. But again, it comes down to if you value performance and customization over comfort, I'd get the HiBoy. If you value comfort and security over performance and customization, I would get the Gotrax. And something else that is probably in Gotrax's favor, or it is I feel like they'd have better support. I've never had to contact the support for either company, but a way to kind of know a scooter company is legit is if they have actual models on the scooters on their Amazon page. Like, I think HiBoy is still photoshopping people on it, which kind of makes me feel a little, suspicious, a little sus about them, but I just feel like Gotrax would be better. I do like both of them. I'm a much bigger fan of the HiBoy, but the Gotrax, it's just a pleasure to ride, even if it isn't as powerful. I hope this video helped you if you were on the fence on which one to get, and this has been the Duke, signing off.